Hello, and welcome back to the latest episode of Hard Hats and Headspace. My guest today on the podcast is going to be my friend from North Wales, growing up literally since I was born, Mr. Steve Walsh. He's got some interesting views on career in construction. He's an electrician, and how he's grown his career and become an absolute hero in mental health. I won't give any more away. All I can say is enjoy the podcast. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Right, welcome back to Hard Hats and Headspace with me, Stuart Wallis. Today I have a great guest with me. I know on each podcast I said this is a friend. This truly is a mate of mine I've known all my life, pretty much, and we'll get into that, I'm sure, as we go into Steve's past. Steve's a qualified electrician by trade, JIB electrician, proud card-carrying electrician.
JIB technician, installation technician.
Yeah, right to
Yeah,
the
not
top of the food chain there.
not just a gold card electrician,
I know.
an installation technician.
Absolutely. And amongst the best, right? And there's no one else I'd ask for advice, literally. And I know some good people in your field, but you would be my first choice. Big Steve's a qualified technician, JIB technician, top of the grading pile. One-time personal AA man for me. We'll come on to that later. Project manager with Lovelock and Taylor. I remember you working there. 11 and a half years with Skanska, electrical compliance. And then barring a couple of months off, 7 and a bit years, 8 years nearly with Mace as senior MVP manager. So welcome, Steve, to the
Cheers,
podcast. First of all, I want to say congratulations. Right? I am so proud of you for this. 2025 Mates in Mind Wiles Award winner for this year. And it is just superb. Tell me, or tell people listening, what that is, what that's about.
The Wiles Award is an award. It's selected and presented by the widow of a construction project manager, Chris Wiles, who took his own life back in 2019. It's for people who actively support people within the industry with mental health issues. It's quite a high bar. I've been looking at the criteria for it and what would have needed for me to be awarded. I'm not going to say to win because that implies it was a competition. It wasn't a competition. I was nominated for an award, and if I won it, I won it. Yeah, if I got it, I got it. If I didn't, I didn't. Somebody here did tell me to stop beating myself up and selling myself short, and I've had that from a few people as well about selling myself short on it. Ultimately, it's about providing support and ongoing advocacy for people within construction.
The read up on it as well. As soon as I know you were going in for it, or you've been put in for it to be more accurate. Bit of mental health, yes, definitely. Support others, 100% you do. The amount of people that I've spoken to me saying you helped them on your current project is brilliant. And the third bit, and that's what this is about today for me, and why I started, and hopefully you will help me with this, and that's stigma reduction and showing a bit of vulnerability, but also, that talking about mental health. I think that's really important, right? So you've been recognised for that because you're a senior person on site, Steve, and that beard coming at you, 6 foot plus, and you're tall. Like it's great, but getting to know the you that I know outside of work, right, is incredible. So let's start with your career, Steve. Right, from starting for Jakey's dad, as I would have called him, or Sneaky Snake's dad.
Sneaky Snake's dad, Dave Watkins. Yeah, I was lucky enough to be taken on by Dave Watkins. I started my apprenticeship with another company, and they folded partway through my apprenticeship. And Dave Watkins was great. He was in college doing his 240 design, erection, and verification of electrical installations. It was my old college lecturer was there, and Dave was talking to him and said, "I've had this letter from this lad in Buckley, and he mentions you in the letter." And he said, and Dave says, he said, "I spoke to Brian Benyon about it, and he said that this lad's Steve Walsh." And Brian Benyon went, "Employ him. He's good." I got to start with him, and I hadn't finished my apprenticeship, and Dave said, "What do you need to do to get finished?" I went, "Well, I need my AM2 and some experience." He went, "I'll get you through your AM2." He said, "I want your AM2 done in a couple of months, and I need you." He said, "I can give you about 6 weeks' work after that." He said, "After that, I can't promise anything." He said, "We'll see what happens."
Yeah.
And so I started middle of June 1993, just before my 21st birthday. Did my AM2 at the end of August up in Chorley at the Daniel Training Centre with Norweb. There's an old name.
Noah Webb, blimey.
Yeah, gone now. Turned into United Utilities, and now I think it's Northern Power Grid, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So yeah, did that. Got me AM2, and then I left Dave in 1998.
A bit
So
longer than a few weeks then.
So yeah, five years later, risen up through electrician. Well, electrician didn't get me gold. I didn't apply for a gold card because I thought I don't need it working for Dave.
Mm.
Um, and then it was later on, about 96, 97. There's this fellow working for the union said, "You should get your gold card. You need your gold card." "Well, how do I get it?" And well, I got it.
Yeah.
Um, so I got my electrician's
Is
card,
it
and
still a
then
2391 then? 2391 and 2 years experience, or just the
no, for
experience?
the electrician's card, just need my MVQ level 3.
No, to get the go to approved to a gold
Oh,
card.
to go to approved, I needed me 2391. But the electrician's card's a gold card.
Yes, sorry, yes.
Uh,
Anyone would think I never worked there.
yeah, old Sparks, mate. We'll always tell you what we're entitled to and what the rules are for it.
Christ, yeah. We'll get onto that as well later.
Yeah. So yeah, he did that. Got me electrician's card. Left him in 1998. Um, a good varied career. It was a proper solid grounding. Dave's mantra was, if electricity goes to it or through it, we do it. And we'd do all sorts. It's housing maintenance. A lot of the times you turn up and it'd be washing machine not working, and an industrial washing machine, not a little domestic one under the counter. It'd be a big one in a laundry room. So
Yeah,
we'd learned how to change seals, change belts on it, do basic fault finding, and that, and it really, really helped my career. Just getting involved and stuck in, and I found just getting involved and stuck in was
brilliant.
the sort of way to go.
And companies like Dave's company were invaluable to the apprentices that worked with me. I don't like saying for me, right, but I was their labour manager. And they get to a bit where they'd worked on airports and one new change, or the Savoy, or blah, 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 right? McLaren, Formula One. But, if you put them in a domestic dwelling, struggle. So we used to get Kevin, can't remember his surname. He was Kevin Cleverly, there you go, at JTL. And he used to sort out a week or two of experience for the Sparks and the plumbers to go and fulfill their portfolio with stuff that, quite frankly, a big contractor couldn't do out and it was a Dave Watkins-esque type of thing. So I think that grounding you had in a domestic setting or a small contractor is incredible.
It's an all-round experience. I mean, one day we could be doing an occupied rewire in a council flat, and then the next day you could be arms deep in a massive bit of switchgear in Shot and Steelworks.
Yeah.
You know, bending. I mean, I've got an abiding memory of doing a Saturday and a Sunday in the town hall car park in Chester in the life safety switch room. Mike Fazy, cracking name for an electrical engineer, Fazy. Mike Fazy came and isolated the generators, give us a permit. We're working in this panel. We're putting a supply up to the new firefighting lift and the development at the back end of it that was being done by Shepherds. And we were doing the stuff for the council, so the client stuff, and it was 4 1H95 pyros. So anybody who's not a Spark, that won't mean a damn thing. Well, that's big old. That's big thick cables, and in a cold damp switch room, you've got to be careful because it's mineral insulated cable. You don't want the water up it. And if it's cold environment, that's tough copper to bend.
Yeah.
And the abiding memory stuck behind that panel with about 600 mil gap, stripping copper on that one. And Dave saying, "Be careful when you do your testing on it." He said, "Because I don't want to get a belt because that's going to have a massive capacitance on it." Well, me being me, it was like, I know that if I let the button off, the Mega's going to discharge it for me. So I just took the leads off and left it. And Dave grabbed it and he's like, "Oh, you bastard." I was like, "What happened, Dave?" He went, "There's still some charge on it." "Did you take the leads off before?" "No, Dave, not me. You told me, do the button bit."
Now, you'd absolutely cane someone for such.
I would absolutely cane someone for doing that with it. But back then, as a just out of my time, Sparks, learning the ropes off a damn good mentor.
It's amazing.
Dave was a proper good old spark, and I learned a huge amount of my trade from Dave.
Did you go from him to move to London?
I was a bit in between. I went to Drake and Skull up on the Trafford Centre.
Oh, that's going back a bit.
So I was in the Festival Village end. Yeah,
they
Billy Watters,
didn't they? Billy Watters. I took over from him at Matthew Hall.
So he left Drake's and went to Matthew Hall's, did he?
And he was temporary. He wasn't permanent. He was on self-employed.
Right, yeah, contractor.
That's him. So his bloody invoices. No wonder they wanted him out quick and get me in cheap.
Yeah, can imagine.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, Drake and Skull, did some stuff in Manchester, worked for a couple of other contractors. I did the agency hopping for a while, couple of months, and then I got another start with Drake, back with Drake's on the Toyota factory in Deeside, doing the engine casting plant. And Mike Street was the engineer, really good. I can't remember John the foreman's last name, Scouse John.
There's a lot of level there.
Yeah, absolutely mad as a box of frogs, but a good foreman. And he saw that I was a good Sparks as well. And we was in work. I remember working in a switch room once, doing some terminations, and I had the limitation of access to be in there from Mike Street because he was the duty older person in charge. And I was working in there, and the door opened, and the construction lead for the construction company that we were contracting to opened the door, popped his head in, and said, I'm coming in with some important VIPs." And I just turned, me being me, said, "Well, if they're VIPs, they're obviously fucking important, aren't they?" I said, "But one, you're not coming in here because you haven't got a permit." And he went, "I don't need a permit." He said, I've got these VIPs." And I went, "Look, mate," I said, "I don't care who you are." I said, "No permit, no coming in." "Do you know who these people are?" I said, "I couldn't care if it's the Queen of Bloody Sheba. They're not coming in." And he went, "Do you know who these are?" And I went, "No, and I don't care. You're not coming in because you haven't got a permit. Fuck off out and leave me to it." So that was in the mornings. So lunchtime, go back to the cabins. I'm sat in the cabins, and comes to the end of lunch, and John the foreman comes over. He goes, "Mike Street wants to see you in his office about this morning in the switch room." And I'm thinking, "Oh shit, here it comes. Going to get sacked for being a goblin."
Get the bullet here, yeah.
Getting pumped. Oh well, wouldn't be the first time I've been pumped. It won't be the last. Go into Mike Street's office, and this little Japanese fella's there with the client's construction lead. So I walked in and I went, "Look, I'm really sorry, I shouldn't have." And Mike Street went, "Steve, shut up." I was like, "Oops." So I stood there, and the Japanese fella said in absolutely superb English, "I'm the head of Toyota's construction division, and what you did today was absolutely superb because we were coming into a place that was probably very unsafe for someone who didn't know what they were doing to go into." He said, "And you wouldn't let me in, no matter who I was, because I didn't have the right documentation to say that I was authorized to be in there." He said, "That's the sort of attitude we want for people who work for Toyota, whether they're employees or as contractors." So well done.
And it's
And it stuck with me.
And I'm not surprised, right? in a good way, right? I'm not surprised that that's the feedback you got, because I've known you, I mean, for those that don't know, Steve literally lived about 5 doors from me, I would say. From when I was born, I was in Avondale. Yeah, it would be 5 technically, I think, wouldn't it?
Six, I think. So you was at 10. So you got
10 Avondale, yeah. 10
so
Delamere Avenue.
10 Delamere. So you got 8 sick
Yes.
for 2 on the corner, which is the big garden, and then you had Noel and Bessie,
Yeah.
and then Paul and Jane, and then over the road was number 1 where I grew up.
And
So yeah, 6 doors.
yes, a 6 doors. So I mean, as an adult now, right, and being mates with you and spending 11 hours in a car with you on Friday, which was great. Looking back to that
That was
story,
actually, it was a proper road trip.
it was great, wasn't it? It shouldn't have been that long, but it was. I'm not surprised, knowing you now, though that was the way you were then. And now I think, genuinely, you have carried on that throughout your career, and goes hand in hand really with your mental health work. And I wouldn't think we would have recognised it as that back in Buckley. And then there'll be a few people from Buckley, because I've had messages from people we both know back up there. You'll be surprised to see me and you on here today, I'm sure. Definitely. But you've always been someone who cared and would always do something. Now, whether that was me phoning you in the dark of the night because my car had just died outside Gateways, to my nan and Gramps buying what amounted to a floodlight, really, could have lit the cricket pitch, and you putting that up for them. To all sorts, I remember being at Kernick's Lane and you coming to isolate what British Gas should have done when they changed the boiler. There's just a live wire hanging from the wall. And you were, I'm coming, on my way now, like half an hour later from Leytonstone to West Norwood. And I think,
Yeah, it was a bit longer than half an hour, mate. You know that, because it's impossible to do it in half an hour, because Catford bloody gyratory.
Anyway, digress. My point is, your attitude then back in Queen's Ferry, which has gone on to serve my brother and Nobby very well over the years in Toyota. I still see it now, and I still see that attitude towards safety and the health and well-being of those around you. So you finish up at D-side.
Finished up to D-side, and I had to start in a project in Birmingham that was going to, well, actually, it was a project in Oxford, and it was going to be too far to drive each day from North Wales. So I ended up moving to London. We're not going to say any more about that on this one, but we'll leave that one for another one, maybe.
Yes.
So I was travelling from London to Oxford each day. And you'll have heard the magic line in the car when we went down through the cutting on the M40. I used to drive this every day.
You did.
Yeah. I was in London, did that, worked for that company for a few months, and then got another start in London on a project just before the millennium.
Was that
Worked
with
for them.
Lovelocks?
No, that was with Austin Turner on Blackfriars, and it ties in with the Skanska bit nicely, actually, because I was working on the project, and the foreman there, Mark Graves, and I still keep in touch with Mark, not as much as I should, but I still do. I drop him a message occasionally on it's not Facebook or whatever, one of them.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Anyway, I digress. Yeah. So we're working away, and we're doing the shell and core, and this company called Caverna Rashley Weatherfoil are doing fit out on levels 4 and 6. So we've got to go and have an induction and work, because it's their PC on 4 and 6 to do bits. The reason I'm going onto their PC is that the access to the core toilets was through their PC, and I got the job of fixing the lights on the core toilets because it was a home automation system that somebody wired incorrectly, but nobody knew that it was wired incorrectly until Mark went, just go and fix it. You're half clever. Do it. So we worked out what it was, sorted it all out, got all the sensors in the right place, all the lights are dressed up properly, got in there, fixed it. Anyway, so I said, who's this Caverna Rashley Weatherfoil thing? So I said, that's the old Rashley Phipps. He said, if you worked for Rashley Phipps, you knew you'd made it in the industry. Fast forward a little bit, I worked for a company called Track Construction. Had a bit of a disagreement with their.
I think I remember that one.
Bit of a disagreement with their. My direct line manager involved a Nokia 6210, and
right, they are not indestructible for anyone listening. Steve proved this, right? I think statute of limitations well gone now, right? We can tell this story.
Oh, Steve lobbed Damien's head.
He rang me up. So I'd not long finished working for the union. Steve rings me, Stu, I'm in trouble. What have you done? Well, I was having a row with me boss. Well, he was wrong, and I told him. Like, okay, well, what's happened? Well, I sacked him. Why? Well, I threw my fucking mobile at his head. And I said, that's not unfair dismissal. He went, it is, because it's my mobile. And somehow, as a magician I appear to be, I got you a payout for that.
You did, because they didn't follow proper process.
Yeah, and that was the law then.
It was the law, proper process, and that's again something stuck with the compliance. If you follow the process properly, you can't go wrong. Yeah,
If
Stu wrote them a
mobile.
wonderful letter. Stu wrote them a wonderful letter, and their HR director, Andrew Amalan. See, I remember all this rubbish. I remember.
I know.
He said, "I've got your letter." He said, "I've looked at it." He said, "And yes, we haven't followed the due process." He said, "To save any aggravation," he said, "if we do," and he gave me the deal, and I rang Stu and they're offering me this deal, and Stu went, "Fucking take it,
Get it? Because you
get it." So I got that.
Really.
Got that, and there was I had a couple of weeks off and got a start with Skanska over at Waltham
11.5
Abbey
years.
doing News International printing press. I remember going for the interview, being stuck in traffic on the M5, and this is the days where you could actually use your mobile while you were driving and calling the bloke that was going to interview me, Richie Balaam, saying, "Oh, I'm going to be late because I'm stuck in traffic," and he went, "So you're coming from such and such way?" I went, "Yeah." And he went, "Yeah." And he said, "Everybody does that the first time they come here." "Don't worry," he said. "When you get here, we'll deal with it." Got there, had the interview. A couple of days later, got the call from the agency. I'm not sure if it was Hayes because I keep recognising when after Friday, I recognised Phil Jackson, and I think it was Hayes was the agency that got me to start with there. But I think it was, but I'm not sure.
Oh, we'll tag him in this, and he can corroborate the story, can't he?
He could do. That's 2007.
Small world,
A long time. It is a small world. The construction industry is very incestuous.
Yeah,
there's a lot of nepotism as well. Anyway, got to start there. People realised that I was good at my job. I thought my immediate line manager, Mark Watson, didn't like me. Apparently, he really liked me. He was just blown away by how clever I was and was a little bit in awe of it. According to Clive Trowbridge, RIP. I mean, Clive was a great mechanical project manager, but got struck down by cancer far too soon. Anyway.
Terrible.
So worked with Skanska for 11 and a half years. And then there was a bit of a reshuffle within Skanska, and people at the top didn't sort of realise and appreciate what Steve did. And Steve got the ump, and Steve left and came to Mace.
And your reputation, because we had a bit of a period. No, being excellent. No one has to tell me you were a gobshite. I knew, but people like Gareth Fielder and whatever. I would talk to him, and he'd go, "He's amazing. There's nothing that man doesn't know." Right? And there were plenty of people about electrical contracting. You think you know everything else.
I'm what you call it. I'm a novice expert, mate. I am
novice expert.
Yeah. I only know enough to stop me getting hurt.
But I know when the people were ringing me, going, "Why has he left Skanska? What's going on there?" I don't know. I'll ask him. I think I messaged you say, "Good luck at Mace" or something. And I never knew in 2018. But at this point, I had no idea I was going to end up working at Mace a year and a half later. In fact, I don't even think I knew you'd gone until I got my job. I think that's when I said good luck to you. And you were like, "Been here fucking ages." Well, very observant of me. But yeah, and here we are, right? Who would have thought now in 2025, you and I are working as part of one of the best teams on a major project in the middle of London when we were stood outside Gateway. I think it was still Gateway then, wasn't it?
It was still Gateway. It wasn't Summerfield, it was Gateway.
My car died, right? So I bought off Carl Ashton.
You got an amazing deal. You had a 2-for-1.
Well, I think I phoned Rich first, and he went, I don't know.
You
Phone
had somebody else out first look at it, and they said, "No, I can't fix it. Don't know what it is." It's things. Then you said you spoke to
And you
Rich
got
about it, and Rich went, "Well, it sounds like an electrical fault. If it's electrical, there's only one person I know that's going to be able to fix that." Walshy.
And then from that moment on, I think, were you living with him then?
Think I might have
Right.
been. Was after August '96? Then no. Before August '96, yes. Because shared the house with Richie about 12 months.
Right.
Because Christmas '95 was a cracking Christmas. New Year's Eve was brilliant. Yeah, at least
We won't go there.
said that one about that one the better, because it wouldn't be the first time that I was wore a dress.
We'll get
See,
to that another day.
talk to me and you get 1,000,001 podcasts out of me, mate. I mean, I could.
I know, well, you know, 2 ADHDers on a podcast, keeping us on track is going to be bloody hard, isn't it?
Yeah, Raconteur, I think is the name, because I've got a story for almost everything. Anyway,
well, I never thought when you came and gone, right, we can bypass that bit and get it work. Stu, this is 2 cars, right? Get rid of it. It's a death trap. Words to that effect, anyway.
yeah.
And I remember thinking, gonna have to go. But I didn't do that. I put another gearbox in it and tried to run it into the ground, and then the clutch went. I was like, I just gave over. But then, you know, I'd look in 30 years, probably 30 years on-ish, 35 years. No, 40 years. 40 years. How old are we? 30 years on. Must be.
Don't.
Right.
Well, 96 to now will biz 29 years. It's 30 years to next year.
29, yeah. 29 yeah,
years.
that's probably about it, yeah. I didn't think then. I mean, you were on the path in construction. I was working on a Vauxhall, Ellesmere Port. Never thought we'd be working for Mace then, on the same job. I still have to pinch myself sometimes that we are.
Same here, mate. Every morning when I wake up, I'm like, am I really this lucky to work on such a good project with a great team?
Yeah, and that's not even blowing smoke up anyone's arse, right? Because I know you'd tell us if it was shite. But I get on the train, obviously not today, but I get on a train and I go through London Bridge, and I must have posted this loads of times on different social medias. And I'm like, we built that. And it's just incredible what we get to do. And I never thought that we would end up doing this, you know, back in mid-90s. Driving around in a cut and shut top half with an XR3i. I don't know what the bottom was.
I think it was more of a front and back rather than a top and a bottom half.
But you know, those things, and we are where we are now. And a big part of doing this podcast for me, which I've mentioned before, is my journey over the last 18 months to 2 years in getting myself into good mental health, because we all have mental health. Some days it's good, days it's not so good, you know, like physical health. And a big part of that for me went through counselling, psychiatric and psychological counselling, which I never again, you know, when I was back up in Buckley, we'd have gone to the pub and had a couple of pints, and someone would have told us we were a wuss or worse, right?
You know what, the phrase that would have been used is one that I absolutely detest hearing, and I'm going to say it, and because I can say it because it's using it as an example of what not to say. If I hear anyone say the phrase "man the fuck up," they're going to get slapped the fuck down. Apologies for the swearing, folks, but that's how passionate about it I am. It's the wrong thing to say.
You're right, by the way, we would have got that. And I hope that's changed a bit. And I hope doing this podcast influences some of those people we know and care for, and we'll see now and again, into just thinking that way. But for me, it's been a massive help for me being able to talk. And before I did this, before I realised I had poor mental health, I used to do the inductions, and we get to the bit with the videos, and we tell stories, and I tell stories about my family and their mental health issues. My immediate family, my kids, and my wife. I never talked about mum and dad and whatever. But I started to really...
We had a discussion afterwards. My words to you were, I didn't think I needed to sit and have a chat, but I'm glad I did.
Mm.
So you don't always know that you're heading down that slope. Now, whether or not you'd spotted it and he was like, get him in there, he needs to sit and talk. But I just chatted rubbish with the guy that trimmed me beard up, because he said, he said, I can trim your hair a bit. He said, but he said, as you've said, there's not a lot to do with it. I mean, look at it. But he trimmed the beard up, shaped it up a bit, tidied it up. I mean, not as good as the barbs like,
No,
but yeah, and it was like, yeah, I actually needed that chat. So
you did.
people forget how people go on, oh, we never had this in the past. We never had people opening up and talking about stuff in the past. Well, actually, we did. It was called going
Yeah.
to the barbers on a Saturday or a Sunday or whenever, and just sitting in and waffling on, usually about football stuff, but there'd be other stuff behind there
Stuff would
anyway.
come out.
Stuff would come out, and you'd be offloading,
Poor
and you'd
man's
come out.
can't.
Poor man's counselling, yeah. So we had it. We had this stuff in the past. We just didn't realise we had it. It had a different name.
I saw you in the morning of that day, and you literally just booted your desk.
To be fair, mate, back at that point in time, it was a bit of a dark place that I was in with the job, with other things, and it was noticeable. I was heading on a trajectory for sort of going into a disciplinary probably, and being told you're not welcome at Mace, mate, not like that.
Yeah.
And a few people made some comments, and I've spoken to them since, and like, cheers for giving us the heads up and talking about that. Put me in the right place. But there was a big sort of step change. It would have been just after my 50th birthday, and I went away for my 50th birthday, and I looked in the mirror, and I looked at it and I thought, Jesus, who's the fat old man? So I decided to do something about it. Got on my bike, started the Couch to 5K. Mate of mine in work, Billy Mahoney, said, well, if you're going to do the Couch to 5K, I'll come and do it with you, Steve. But you got to be committed. There's no half-arse attempts, proper.
Yeah.
So we started it, and instead of doing it in 9 weeks, did it in 6. Because stubborn.
Yeah.
Um, that got me into a much better place. I mean, back in 2019, sort of 6 months into working for Mace, my outlet for keeping me calm, scuba diving, was taken away from me because I was diagnosed with high blood pressure, mainly because I was a fat bastard. Lost the weight, got fit, so I got on my bike, started riding into work, started the running, so running 5K twice a week, 10K on a Sunday. That was a lot later than the 10K on a Sunday. 5K twice a week on my bike, got me dive medical back in November 22, did a wonderful year scuba diving, and then February 20 got me medical back again November 23. And February 24, riding home one day, slipped off the bike and wallop, ruptured kidney, and 5 days in Whips Cross Hospital, literally pissing blood.
Yeah, I remember getting the message too on that from you, and then it coming through to the project as well. You know, the project What's So Good. It was scary. You're like, oh, God, just from what you told me, never mind anyone else frightening me. I was like, this is not good. And I had the
Yeah.
ultimate thing, fuck, is this my mate gone? Obviously.
No, well, it was pretty scary. I was at Whips Cross, and it's a busy London hospital, so there's always a long wait, and that's inevitable because of where it is and what it does, and so on and so on. I was there, and to be fair, I was triaged quite quickly.
Yeah.
I was in on a trolley in a corridor because they didn't have any more spare bays. But at least I was in triaged, and then there was an announcement about. I remember this 2 in the morning, and they said there's a wait of approximately 10 hours to see a doctor because we're extremely busy. I mean, February is lots of winter illnesses.
Yeah.
So at that point, I hadn't given them another sample, so I'd done another sample, and it was literally
Blood.
dark red blood in the sample thing. And so I wandered over to the desk, and I said to the doctors, I've heard your message and thing about if you're not considered urgent, you might want to go home. I said, does this mean I'm urgent? And put the sample in front of him. And without missing a beat, he looked up, looked back down and carried on writing, looked up, and then he went, don't go. And just carried on.
I'll
I
just
was
go.
like, okay, fine. Anyway, 5 days in Witchcross, discharge notes. So I'd asked the doctor, I said, so can I go back to the running and the riding? And he went, no, you need 6 to 8 weeks of no running, no riding, light exercise. Well, can I go walking? Yeah, you can go walking. Right, okay. I left it there. I didn't ask, what's my limit? It's just like,
How far you were walking?
they haven't given me a limit, so there is no limit. So I just started walking and did some stupid walks. I mean, walked Regent's Canal end to end from Limehouse over to Paddington. Got to Paddington, Little Venice, and I'm like, oh, I wonder
Fun.
if where else I can go. So I carried on up the Grand Union and got as far as Acton, and then thought, Acton, I could walk over to Ealing and get. 'Cause Acton to Ealing is not far.
No.
And I can get the Lizzie line back. So I did that a couple of times. Just kept me fit. Because my main concern then was my mental health, which had improved massively
Yeah.
through getting fit, being healthy. I thought that, I mean, my mental health started to suffer on that one because I thought that I was going to turn into Mr. Fat again. I didn't want to turn into Mr. Fat. And yeah, kept it well. So that was the beginning of 24. But I wasn't allowed to go scuba diving, and was the that was the killer.
Yeah.
26 weeks, they said. So 6 months. That's the dive season gone. So comes to October time, and I've got a 2-year sign off on my medical now. So that's coming up the end of November this year. And I'm like, I haven't been diving for ages. What's the point? And I wasn't feeling it. There was some dark thoughts popping through my head. There's not many people that I've opened up to on this one, so I suppose I might as well tell everybody. I mean, I don't know how big your audience is, Stu, a couple of
Yeah.
thousand.
Yeah.
I looked at I looked at the remain. So when I got discharged from hospital, they gave me some cocodamol, codiadramol, dihydrocodone. I can't remember what it is now. So I looked up on that one and I thought, yeah, that'll just knock me out completely. So I looked up what the fatal dose was, and I had more than enough for the fatal dose. And I was like, well, there you go. He's just working out when. So I'm in work. I'm in work, and I get a message from someone I'd supported previously. This is October last year, so almost 12
Mm.
months. And I was like, I can't carry on with this. I can't really can't carry on with this. I've got to do something about it. So I went to the GP with an excuse. I need my blood pressure checking. It's the time for the annual review. It was nowhere near the time for the annual review. And I went in there, and the GP proper switched on. And he said to me, he said, you're not here for your blood pressure, are you? What's up? I just opened up, blurted it out, told everybody. I told them. So, but prior to that, the opening up about the bit, I opened up to the whole workforce here about how I felt after my accident, when I thought that I was going to turn into Mr. Fat and what I was doing to my mental health,
Yeah.
and said, don't bottle it up, open up. Because I spoke to people and they were like, you'll be fine, Steve. You'll be absolutely fine. There's no way that you're going to pile all that back on in a month or two, because you can't, and you're walking and you're doing stuff and you're eating sense. You know the rules. You're following the rules. So, and they were right. I didn't.
I remember talking to you at this point. I think we were in Maria Fidelis by this point, weren't we? We were in the new office.
Yeah.
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 And sat at your desk, and I think you were going to the doctors at that point. And I told you I was seeing a psych, was just counselling. And I was proud of you for going, because it's hard admitting it.
Absolutely. And the biggest one for me was the worry about going is that, what will other people think of me? And ultimately, the reality is that, screw what anybody else thinks. If you need help, go and get it. I do the inductions, and when I get to the mental, should I admit this to thingy? There's bits of the induction that I sort of skip over quickly, like the site rules and stuff, because to be brutally honest, it's the same site rules as for every other site that I've been on in the past 20 years in London. So the first question I ask is, who's worked on a
Skip over that
construction?
bit then.
Yeah. Who's worked on a construction site in London in the last 12 months? And everybody's hands goes up. Right. I said, so here's the slide. There's the site rules. Anything different from any other site? No. Right. Well, don't do that then. And it gives me extra time to focus on the bits that I think are absolutely important.
Yeah.
The health and well-being, because for far too long, this industry's done safety,
Yes.
and not thought about health and well-being. And we do the Norwich video. sure everyone's seen the Norwich video. First time I saw that, guy was sat next to me, I went, it's not the quiet one that's going to have the problem. It'll be the loud one. Bang at the end. And everyone's like, how did you spot that, Steve? I don't know, just knew. Yeah, really?
Just
Yeah, because it's me all over, because I'm the loud one.
yeah.
It's not always the quiet ones.
You are the loud one.
I am the loud one.
I mean, I remember, again, back when you were not having a great time, but it was, I have to say, I was the only one who just thought it was hilarious and came straight over to take the piss out of you because I've known you so long. But someone threw an orange in the top floor of NTH. And I'm sat down with, I think, down the other end anyway. And it just went dead quiet because I just heard, who the fucking hell threw that? Dickhead. I was like, fucking Walshy. Who's thrown that at him?
I'm gonna have to do it now, aren't I? You know it. I'm not gonna name names of who it was.
That was so funny.
You know it's a Trust Fund Student Festival.
Yeah, Jim from Brassic. It only come to me on Friday, that one, as you. Definitely. But yeah, the loud one, right? Go back to that.
Yeah.
And I think, sorry, I didn't mean to interject on that.
No. It's being the loud one sometimes gets me in trouble because I've not been diagnosed with ADHD, but from doing various tests, the Genius Within thing that I did and it came through, and it was like, yeah, that's just sort of confirmed what I've always thought for thingy that, and it was good because it gave me a. Now you know what the problem is, Steve, and it's not a problem, to be fair.
Here's some solutions for you.
Here's some solutions. This is what you can do. My gob sometimes operates a lot faster than the brain can get to the stop button.
Stop button, yeah.
The stop button, and there's very often I'll just go, oh no, I want to brag all them words back and put them back in because I didn't mean it to come out like that, but it does.
Sometimes, mate. You know, I have learned to use my ears more than my mouth over my career, right? Because my mouth can get me into trouble if I use it too much. But that's learning, that's experience, it's maturity and working with people that are great and watching other people. And we've had a few conversations where people have come to you at work. And once upon a time, I would go, why did they come to you, not me? It's my job. But naturally, no. My job is putting whatever I can in place to make people have a better time at work so they come and work on our jobs, in a nutshell, without causing us any risk or reputational damage, right? In whatever way, whether it's money, safety, well-being, health, mental health, physical health, the canteen, the quality PPE, blah, 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 right? That's my job. And having people on my side that'll go, right, there's someone here that I've had a chat with and they're struggling like hell. What do we do, Stu? What's available? And you don't tell me who it is, and I don't want to know who it is unless they come and go, I spoke to Steve. And there's been a few, and I think that's just, I don't think we would have saw that or realised you were that kind of person all those years back. But now, I would encourage any of my colleagues to seek you out. As long as you're getting the place to offload it, by the way.
Well, that's where I was sort of coming to about maybe 20 minutes ago.
Sorry.
Yeah, and you know what we're like? It's two old Buckley boys, both in the construction industry. We'll talk the iron leg off a donkey. Anyway, I went to GP, told him how I felt, what was going on, and he said, "We'll get you some help." He said, "Put me on talking therapies." He said, "It'd be about 6 weeks. Be about 6 weeks before somebody will be in touch with you and get sorted." And it was just after the New Year. Got a phone call, went through a screening call, and I'm like, who's he fucking bastards? But I was open, I was honest, and that's the important thing. You've got to be open. They're not there to judge, they're there to help. And I was put in touch with the talking therapies counsellor, Mel. And after I won that, got awarded, recognised the Mates in Mind Award, the Wiles Award. I emailed Mel, and I haven't spoke to Mel since we finished this, the 6 sessions of counselling. That was, oh God, that would have been April time. I haven't spoke to her since then, apart from, no, it was May, because I remember the date now, the 16th of the 5th. I haven't contacted anything, but I sent I just sent her a picture of me with the awards and a couple of lines saying thank you for the help and assistance. This is where it's ended up, and I've helped a few people in work and so on and so forth. But yeah, the getting the talking therapies is important because, as Bob Hoskins said, it's good to talk, and it's
Oh,
there's no bad things. You might hear some things you don't want to hear
yeah.
from the
But it's
counsellor, and
best
they
you hear
tell
them
you
than wonder, isn't it?
it is. But it got me sorted. I mean, on the second session, so you have to do a little scoring thing before you start,
Mm.
um,
BDI
and
scoring.
yeah, it's where you are on how you physically are, you mentally are, etc. And on the second session, some of the things that I was saying, the counsellor got to the end of the 45 minutes and she said, I'm going to have to suspend the counselling sessions because I need to refer you to the because you've hit some keywords, unfortunately. So, and your scores are backing this up. So I need you to talk to the actual mental health, the mental health team at Jane Atkinson House in Walthamstow. And I was like, oh, I know Jane Atkinson House because of someone else I've assisted, not in work, outside of work. So I was like, okay, I'll go over. So I sat down there, talked with them. They came back and they was like, actually, no, it's not a problem. He's hit some keywords, whether or not by accident or
Yeah.
but the counsellor did what they were supposed to, what they were trained to, and referred me. And it was nice to know that someone had my back. But yeah, there's been dark moments.
And
But
I don't think you can ever say there won't be more. It's what I learned from my counsellor general. She said to me, what we will come out of this at the end of is how you deal with other people and what they say to you and they react. Because I can't control what you say or one person says to me. You cannot control it.
no,
It's impossible. How you can control it is how you react. And whilst that sounds obvious, that was a bit of an epiphany for me to go, yeah, I don't have to agree with them. I don't have to be bothered. I can have a different opinion. That's fine. They're still my friend, my family, whatever. That's what I got out of it. And I think hopefully you as well, because you said something before about looking in the mirror and don't want to be that person. There's only
yeah,
you wants to not be that person. It's not everyone else. Everyone else thinks one is great. You are great. Like loads of people love Walshy, and people that either have messaged me through this or just my friends go, love being with you, Stu. It's great, and it's lovely to hear that now. But back then, when I was having a bad time, oh yes, because they don't know the real me. They did know the real me because I was relaxed. But I left the real me. Often I left it at work or he went to pub, right? Now I try
yeah.
and bring it everywhere, bring my best. And look, I think, Steve, you've thoroughly deserved the Wiles Award from Mates in Mind. I'm so proud of you for doing that. I immediately forwarded on your proud of me moment WhatsApp to the Barbs. And I can't remember what he said, but it was shrouded in praise. It was praise in a piss
It's a
taking.
backhanded compliment because Richie
It
doesn't
doesn't do
really
well,
do
do mate. Really.
well done, mates, because he's Richie and he's
I'll
pretty laid
find it
back.
and I'll send it to you because it'll make more sense to you than it does to me.
Yeah. Well, you you said something in the car on Friday when we were going up to the Band of Builders stuff.
Yeah.
And I've already reached out to Gavin as well through LinkedIn because he found me on LinkedIn. So I've pinged back saying, looking forward to working with you, we're giving you support that I can. And you said, because I was talking about I'm not worthy of the award, there'll be people out there that's far more worthy of it than me. And you said, stop selling yourself short. I had a conversation in work this morning and said the thing, yeah, and they came out with the same. Don't sell yourself short, Steve. You're more than worthy of it. And on Monday was a well-being day for me because I went on a well-being walk. This is one of the great things about working for Mace is that they will allow you to do this
Yeah.
sort of stuff. I spoke to my line manager, Colin, and I went, I want to do this well-being walk thing that's part of the Wiles Award. And he went, yeah, go for it. No problem. He said, I'd love to come and do it. He said, but it's just so many meets and stuff I can't get out
Someone's
of.
got to be here.
Someone has to be here and do
Someone's
it.
got to make dinner for the kids. That's what I always call it. Someone's got to stay in the office.
Yeah, so I went on the walk, and Michelle Wiles, Chris's widow's the woman who's going to present the award. And I didn't realise who she was at first, and so I'm saying probably not. I'm not going to think that I'm going to win this or receive this, because there's far more people out there doing far more worthy stuff than what I do. I'm doing my general sort of being Steve thing. And I said, that's what I've been thinking for the last couple of days, until I had a chat with my mate on Friday. And then I've come to the decision that I've got 2 posts I can put on LinkedIn. One, I'm really proud to be the recipient of the Wiles Award, because of the work, with the work that I do. And the other one is, I was really pleased to be shortlisted as a finalist, but the person who was awarded this absolutely deserved it, because it's a far more worthy story than mine. So I've got the two looks. So we get to the end of the awards after I've been presented it. Michelle says, "You don't realise how hard today was with you saying you didn't think you were worthy of the award while we were walking around," because I just wanted to say, "We've won it," but I couldn't.
You can't, yeah.
So yeah, if Michelle, you are watching this podcast,
Well, we can listen, well, I'll share it with you and tag you on LinkedIn, and you can share as you wish.
yeah. So I do apologise for me being me, but
Don't
me being
apologise for
me,
you being you.
but
Be
me
you.
being me, that's what I was going to get to. But me being me is helping a lot of people out there, and a lot of times without me even realising it, which is good. A lollipop moment.
Is it a lollipop moment?
Drew summed it. It's a TEDx talk. There's 2 versions of it. There's the version where Drew has lost a huge amount of weight, because we used to use that. We used to use it in Skanska on the AFE, supervising AFE. The lollipop moment is, it's leading with lollipops. It's where nobody tells people that they're doing a really good thing and they've had a positive impact on their lives.
Yeah.
And someone came up and told him. And I used to use it in Skanska because he was like me. He was a fat bearded bald bloke. Now he's a not so fat bearded bald bloke, and I'm like, that's really spooky. That thingy. But yeah, it's a TEDx talk from TEDx Toronto. Drew Sunday
Well, I'll
leading
tell you
with
what, you
Lolly.
can ping me the link while I'm editing this, and then we'll make sure it goes into the show
I'll
notes.
ping you the link. It's on YouTube. It's there for people to use.
But thanks for breaking your podcast virginity with me as well.
It's fine, mate.
And agreeing to be on here. This is really important. This is something I don't think you'll realise the impact, and it doesn't matter whether you do, to be honest. But from the bottom of my heart, and all those other people that know you and work with you and came to ask me what you were like when you were coming to the project, because I was putting you in, right? I was your champion. Say, you'll fucking hear him before you see him, right? But he's amazing. And you are, right? So I'm not going to blow any more smoke up your ass, but thank you for what you do for everyone, especially me, right? You do check in on me and we check in on each other.
Yeah, we did.
And 2 Buckley lads done well, right? Working for an amazing company, building things like Euston Station, bloody Heathrow, Gatwick. The Shard. All right, it wasn't with Mace when the Shard was going. There's a story about the wheel I'll do another time, but just the things we do. The Edge, Salisbury Square development, Stratford that you were on.
Stratford Waterfront, cracking project.
How the hell did we get this from, running around Delamere Avenue? And it is ace. And I love it. And I love what we do.
Imposter syndrome is a big one. We didn't think we're good enough to do it. And it's rubbish, because we are. Yeah. We are good enough to do it. People hate walking around London with me because I go, built that. I worked on that. What's scary though now, and I've got to say it, is walking around looking at developments going on. Going, I remember working on the predecessor to that building when I first came to London. So that means I am getting old. Or walking down past Ludgate, and I always remember walking when Skanska were building number 1 Ludgate, or 1 New Bailey, or whatever it's called, the colourful one at the the opposite the Old Bailey. When I was meeting my mate, and I said, we'll go to this lovely little cafe on a corner before we go off to site. And we walked down, and he went, what's the problem? And I went, the cafe that was going to take you to is the site that we're going to. So it's gone. We can't do that.
Well, look, one question for you before you go, which is a little bit off piece. Right, when people say, where are you from? Do you say Buckley and they go, where's that? Where do you say it's near now?
I say Chester, because a lot of people know Chester. Sometimes they look at you a bit crazy and I'll go, near Wrexham. And more people
I've
more
changed to
people know Wrexham because they say, "Oh, you got a Scouse
Thanks to
accent." No, I'm
Deadpool,
not a
right?
Scouser.
No.
So where you
Yeah.
from? Yeah, North Wales, a little bit of North Wales. The nearest big town, I'll say, is Chester. Where's that? About 10 miles from Wrexham. Oh, I know where Wrexham is. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so I just say Wrexham now.
yeah.
Although I did come a cropper when I was talking to Datascope, and their office is in Broughton. I didn't know this till recently.
It's in Harden. It's Manor Park.
Harden Airport, yeah.
Yeah, Manor Lane.
Trust you to bloody know that.
Just round the
And I
corner
was
from Mac
bragging.
Electrical.
I'm from a small town called Buckley. It's near Wrexham. They went, no, it's not. It's near. Where are you? That's 9 miles. Right, that's pretty near. Right.
Yeah.
If you can call London Gatwick and London Southend and London Luton airports, you can call Buckley near Wrexham for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. Enjoy the rest of your day, Steve. Thank you very much.
I will do.
Keep doing what you're doing, mate.
So,
Love
as
you.
a final one, if you can read it, I don't know if it's backwards or it looks backwards
I'm an
on my screen, but
electrician.
you can.
What's your superpower?
My superpower is being me.
Yes. And don't forget it. All right, mate. Thank you.
No probs. Cheers, mate. You are a cracker.